Hello and welcome back. I do believe you probably have no idea what you're gonna see right now. But this is something unique. And yes, as you might see, it's CD Projekt Red, powered by BioWare, all the good stuff. It's the Witcher series. Something that I don't believe anyone has actually done before. So I'm gonna take the credit, self-assigned to myself, obviously. And let's take a look. This is something very interesting. While I was preparing for this game review, well, by preparing I mean I opened my Steam and I only noticed I have the second and the third, and I was pretty sure I had the first one, so I got the first one as well. Obviously I can't really, cheat, so I have to buy it anyway. And I got it, and I felt like this is it, my life is complete, I have everything, I have all three Witcher series, all DLCs, and, well, nothing really to show for it. However, not only this, I have a printer, so I printed out a lot of stuff about The Witcher because I wanted to see how deep the rabbit hole goes, and oh my god, is it very deep. First off, The Witcher itself, the one you see right now, or the first one, it actually launched at 2007. And obviously, as we all know, Witcher is pretty well known, and I definitely believe you guys remember this cutscene where there's gonna be the monster, it's gonna jump out, and we're gonna try to fight it in a courtyard or whatnot. And this is what I remembered as well. And first of all, when it came out, there was a certain group of people who basically said, well, if you didn't read the books, it's kind of pointless for you to play this game. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. So I never played it because I never read the books. And this is where the rabbit hole kind of starts to form. So the first book was actually announced, wait for it, in 1986. So actually, the guy who made all of this, let me try to actually pronounce his name, Andrzej Sapkowski, and he's a Polish fantasy writer, and basically he participated in a kind of like a fantasy sci-fi writers convention, and he got third place with Witcher, which in Polish is Wiedźmin. So kind of like, warlock, give or take. So this is how the story actually started. We basically got this guy to create this, book character at 1986. That was before I was even born. Shit. And I'm ancient. So obviously, after all this, the game went into kind of like a, pre-production phase, and it was kind of start to be rolled out. And the first kind of like what happened is they built it on Aurora engine, because it's obviously the BioWare's proprietary engine at the time. You might actually remember some games from BioWare when they were like, still good. I can't say they're bad now, but how many hits we actually have from them lately. Either way, so what we have is The Witcher. So the first Witcher launches up, and we have game specs as well, printed out obviously. I went just lush on printing, like 2 pages, didn't even blink an eye. And here you go. So I'm gonna read off enhanced recommended requirements. So this is 2007, right? So this is like a very small, not yet known Polish dev company, and this is how they made it. CPU Intel Pentium 4 at 3 GHz, which is basically the Intel Pentium 4 to be completely honest with you. AMD Athlon 64 plus 3000. RAM 2 GB. Operating system Windows XP or Vista. So Vista was already fucking life up. Graphics card GeForce 7800 GTX. Or ATI, which wasn't AMD yet, Radeon X9050. So I must say the requirements were already pretty decent. Okay, so I'm not saying it's something very crazy and stuff like this, but it was pretty decent. So of course there was no way in hell you could actually play Crysis. with these specs, that goes out of the question, because we're talking actual Pentium 4, which is single core, and we're talking like 780, which is what, 128 megs, maybe 256, and of course for RAM itself, well, there is literally, RAM is 2 gigs. Apparently I mentioned that before. Now keep in mind, 2007, right? So we come around and we have this game. As you can see, the cinematic is pretty nice. Our 1080 Ti is actually being used at 48% and producing 3000 frames, which is, pretty cool and amazing. And this chase scene goes on for a while. Since I never played this game, but I've seen the cinematic trailers all the way, I was kind of expecting, this Witcher 2, Witcher 3 kind of like thing. I was not prepared for what I saw, so let's not doodle and dawdle and go straight for it. So CD Projekt, Atari, the way it meant to be played, Nvidia, obviously Bink videos, which someone might remember from Russian games. And this is the menu, right? So let's go for the options and let's look at the video options. Full HD, full screen. Okay, I'm just playing. Advanced. Look at this. This game has more settings than Mass Effect has ever had apart from Andromeda. Why? Because they knew hardware will go on, but people are not just splashing money down on the counter to play the latest games. So they made it affordable. So of course, basically let's just load the game, which obviously was there. I swear to God. Anyway, let's start a new game. Let's play it on easy with a mouse. There we go. And this is where I literally, my jaw dropped. The moment I saw this game. People who read the books and then play the games, you are the actual fucking legends here, because I cannot imagine playing games like this back in the day. Look at this. This is middle mouse button. For me to go and kill someone, I can run. In a weird way. Ah, fuck off. I need to pick up the sword to fight. Yeah, I know. I'm not seeing where my mouse cursor is. Wait, hold up. Ah, there we go. Where's the... There it is. Okay, now I have the sword. Now look at this. Click and it starts fucking this guy up. I just cannot. This is the actual game. Look at this madness. We're getting 130 frames, right? And honestly, I'm so happy about it, but this is definitely something that would require getting used to, because it's not exactly your usual Diablo style point and click. It's kind of your move the camera so you see the battlefield, move the directional keys so you can move on your own, because clicking the mouse doesn't really work because you're too busy clicking on the enemy you need to kill. This is so much different from the older games that we actually have used to see when it comes to like the same Diablo, Baldur's Gate. Anything that, or even, I don't know, StarCraft, to be honest, anything that is point and click and you expect the results. And it actually looks good. Look at this stuff. This is pretty goddamn good. For 2007, of one of the absolutely not the best game engines out there, even at that time, it actually looks pretty decent. Look at the modules. I mean, I'm not saying this is groundbreaking. I'm not saying this is, over the top, but goddamn, this was a good looking game. In my opinion, if I had to travel back to 2007, damn. And look at the graphical fidelity right there. Someone actually made sure and put in some extra time to make this. Yeah, the textures on the wall actually looks like there's some bricks and stuff. Obviously, we have some witches here, and look at this. So, of course, pre-rendered and everything, the eyes have reflections of the light. Little things, little tiny things. I honestly cannot remember any game studio that would actually do this before, or maybe I just never paid attention for it. However, looking at how it's all made and the storyline closely follows the books. So this was one of the games that was made after the book, not other way around. Like now we have a Netflix series and then somebody writes the book. Because, you know, the idea was there but it was never published. And now we can publish with a back date. Either way, so this is what we actually have. And I must say, this is not bad at all. To select the weapons, you need to quite literally click on a weapon, because if you don't, you cannot talk to other characters while wielding a weapon. If you have ever played Stalker, right? It's an old Russian game, you know, there's gonna few parts of it out there. Stalker had the same mechanic. If you have your weapon drawn out, you cannot engage in a conversation, get information or anything. You will be, well, basically perceived as hostile. So you had to take a bolt or a screw in your hand to show you're not hostile. In this game, this mechanic is also here. So if you are a non-combatant, this is what you can do. You can just like, you know, hey, I'm just a witcher, just looking for someone to toss coins my way, you know? And look at all this stuff. I mean, this is not bad at all. And talking about the actual resources we're pulling 4 gigs of RAM instead of, well, the promised 2 that we would need. And memory-wise, we're pulling 929 megabytes. So, well, way above 128 megabytes. And this is full HD, fully maxed out in 2020. I mean, guys, this would be very demanding back in the day. Oof, this would be very demanding. All the anti-aliasing, all the shadows, all this sunlight. Look, even the ground has some sort little bit of reflection to it. Not much, but just enough to see that over this area, when I move, you can see it gets darker and lighter, while the shadows are actually still as a shadows, and it kind of gets a bit slimmer. I mean, look at the level of detail someone actually put into this game. I honestly, this is so cool. I mean, I don't know, guys. I honestly think, and I really don't want to think this way, that I might need to play this game. You know, just go back to basics, go back to my roots. Because god damn it, this is pretty cool. Of course, I will suck at this game. But man, this already looks better than I would want to admit. Once you get used to the controls and how the camera pans in, unless you're doing it manually, this is pretty decent. Oh. Yeah, well, obviously I'm reading the subtitles because I'm looking at the quality of the cutscenes, and already there is some exposition, there is some certain things, but again, even without knowing, you are actually getting filled in, at least for the enemy you're facing, and you can go like, actually like, what the actual fuck is this? And honestly, if you, obviously, back in the day people read books a lot. If you were reading a book, this would probably be the moment you are looking forward to, because it would be very nicely described, as the walls rumbled and the gates crushed, yada yada, you know, like in this Morgan Freeman voice, obviously. You would actually see all this stuff. And this, playing the book as a game, that is not bad at all. That is pretty goddamn, well, not impressive, but exactly quality stuff I would expect. And of course we see some, a bit more better laid groundwork here, with some effort put in, obviously. And again, you can see the wall is actually kind of at a different angle here, so we can clearly appreciate it. So yeah, again, the medium B+ things that someone has put their effort in. Anyway, again, this guy looks like an asshole, probably is, and that's enough of a wall. Geralt actually looks so innocent at this point. Look at this guy. He's got like, hey man, it wasn't me, I was asleep at that time, come on, like, I didn't kill no monsters, man. He's like confused more than this pissed off, hardened witcher we've all grown to know. Look at this guy's like, almost like, you know, the new start, first day in the job. He's like, man, wasn't me. And obviously here go the upper management, like, hey, you know, this is what and how you do things here, so fucking do it correctly the first time. And this is someone who started the day before and he feels cocky. Anyway, I'm not gonna spoil the plot or the game, because, well, first of all, I don't actually know the plot or the game. But at the end of the day, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna try to understand this, because, well, I kinda suck at reading and playing at the same time. Can I, like, kill the guy? Man, I'm trying to showcase you. Aha, here we go. Professional as always. So I think at this point I'm actually gonna stop this, but basically you see what you're in. This game currently is on Steam for like, what, about £6? And it runs on Windows 10 in 2020, and to be completely fair, considering this game and how it looks and how it runs, and it actually runs on Windows 10, I would say definitely grab a bargain if you want to get into the Witcher series. Start with the basics. Go through so you can appreciate the effort, time, quests, graphical fidelity and everything put into this game. Because honestly, I think we're actually in for the treat. So let's take a look at the game that I actually did have before starting this review, which is Witcher 2. So obviously Witcher 2 is a sequel to The Witcher, and of course it's developed by CD Projekt Red. And it was released on 2011, so of course, like the original game, it's set after the events of Andrei, which wrote the Witcher stuff. And this is all the games are based on the novels themselves. At the time when this game came out, I would say this was one of the most hardware-hungry titles ever created. Oh, there's actually audio going here. Yeah, well, I think we can take a look. Anyway, of course we're not going to take a look because, well, for obvious reasons. So for Witcher 2, let's talk about recommended requirements first, and then we'll go down to everything else about this game. So CPU was basically Intel or AMD quad core. So first time there was actually the quad cores like FX Bulldozers, 4100s and stuff like this out. CPU speed is Intel or AMD quad core. So obviously if you have a quad core, you're not going to push 4 gigs on each core. That wasn't the case. RAM was required 3 gigabytes for Windows XP. And for GPU, it was already required to have GTX 260 1 gigabyte version or Radeon 4850 1 gigabyte. So I actually did have 4850 card, and I must say it was pretty decent card, to be completely fair. With a little tiny bit of overclock, it would play Far Cry Primal maxed out, kinda close to 60 frames. And by close I mean about 40-45, so it's not really that far off the truth. However, all these games, and there's a note on the requirements, in resolution 4040 times 900, so we are sub Full HD. Kinda, well, midway between 720p and Full HD. And that's pretty much all there is. So, of course, with all this combined, I must say this game has so many settings to adjust, I cannot even list them all. First thing, you see the options. Take a look. This is it. You don't get to adjust your graphical settings in-game on the fly. You have to do it before launching the game. When you launch the game, it actually gives you the option menu where you can adjust all the options and stuff like this. Once you're in the actual game, so the launcher and the game, it's kind of separated a bit. Nothing you can do about it. Well, not that bad, but since we now know the requirements, we can just, you know, load the game. I played this back in the day. Let me just see something where I can kind of do preferably nothing. I think the best thing would be here. And honestly, this game still asks for resources a lot, even in these times. If you take a PC like 5 years back, you would notice that this game actually hogs up resources pretty well. See, this monument just loaded in, and I'm on 1080 Ti, but look at all this graphical fidelity already. You have reflections, you have the fire effects, you kind of have this warm tone, something in the air, you have this overall feeling, and look at the model itself. There is a bit more quality. The swords have reflections, like the sword handle, it now actually reflects light. Also, you can actually see this. So this is a bit more generic, third person view that you can run around. And now look at our performance stats. 72 frames. Well, dips to 72. This is 1080 Ti, boys. Everything is absolutely maxed out, whatever I could find, and this is full HD. I'm not joking. We're pulling 1.3 gigs of video memory and 4.8 on RAM. Ouch! I must say, and this is not down to the game code, this game is made pretty well in my opinion. So, to be completely fair, I must say this was the next step in, well, your graphical performance, because... ah, shit. I think I just evaded the dragon. I mean, look at this. That's actual gameplay of the game. How cool is this? You're running away from the actual fucking dragon, which is about to eat your ass. How many games give you this stuff? Also, this game, of course, has a lot of Easter eggs in it, like Assassin's Creed Easter eggs and stuff like this. If you play it, you can actually find it. What a badass. Oh, bro, give me back my sword. I hope that was the steel one. Nah, looks like that was the silver one. Fuck.
You saved my life again. Ask what you will of me, Witcher. Within reason, of course.
I need to leave, sire. I'd like Triss Merigold to come with me, if she wants.
Are you blind? She's enamored with you.
Okay, so of course we are in this part with Triss, so we don't actually have to find her yet. But again, just 2 minutes in, and the story just picks up, and you just have to go, you have to walk, you have to start, you know, do things. There's no things where like, oh, what do I do now? Everything is clearly just laid before you, and it just hooks you in. Oh my god. No kids, please. Ah, shit. Ah, I know how to skip the things. Whoever's running away. Either way, again, I'm not gonna spoil the game. I played this already, obviously. So I'm... well, here we are back in the prison explaining the guy what happened. Anyway, I would say definitely, again... nah, Triss will vouch for me, it's fine. Ah, this is so annoying. Anyway, I'm just gonna... I need to go through all these questions either way. Then we can progress into the next segment. So, Assassin of Kings, of course, is a pretty lengthy and story-driven title, which is not bad at all. Come on, man, just let me tell you the story again.
Not yesterday, he was a hero pretty much.
Yeah, we can, so we need to provoke the guards and then they come and then we basically get free. Anyway, this is something I would actually tell you. Part 2, graphically much better, a bit more demanding. Storyline is very, very good. And, I mean, can't really blame these games. Yes, there is some certain glitches and things that doesn't work. You can again go on YouTube, type in Witcher 2, Witcher 3 glitches and you will see a whole goddamn playlist with them. No game is perfect, okay? And this game is no exception. I mean, everything that involves humans and coding will give you some nice glitches. Even if everything is up to par, the moment there's a physics engine, there you go. The moment objects have weight and it did not calculate in a certain thing, well...
Hey, my manacles fell off. Can you help me get them back?
I don't know. You're gonna get the same stuff.
How the devil did he do that? We've got to get in there. You go left, I'll go right.
Oh. Please don't fight me, I don't want to fight you guys. I can heal, that's fine. Of course, quick time events is one of the things that you kind of need to be prepared for in this game, which I would say is kind of very unusual, but they're not really game breaking. It's not like you're gonna notice it all the time. Anyway, now as you've seen how it all looks, and it actually looks pretty good. I need to just take all, obviously, because I'm basically naked. And I need to get out, get my gear, and you know, the story continues on, because this basically is what happens. And there's a lot of speculation what happens if you get killed in a prison and yada yada yada. I'm gonna let you guys find all of this out by yourselves. So yeah, this is basically pretty much all there is. Let's take a look, of course, at our final part, The Witcher 3. So of course, when it comes to Witcher 3, everybody knows this game, and it is everywhere, quite literally. Wherever you look, wherever you basically spit in the World Wide Web, you're gonna stumble upon Witcher 3 memes. Specifically, once it hit the Netflix, people were revisiting this game, and actually big kudos to the CD Projekt Red. They did not actually up the price, which happens in most cases when someone actually releases a movie or Netflix series. Probably none of you actually knew this, but the game for Deadpool came out, I would say, 6 years before the movie released, and it dropped down to about £1.20 or even less than $1. And when the movie Deadpool launched, you fucking guessed it, it was up to high 60s. I'm not kidding. I looked at that and I was like, God damn, I need to take the screenshot for my kids, because they would not believe this shit. The game was launched on like, what, 2011 or something? And the Deadpool movie came out in, what, I think 2018 or something, or maybe, I don't know, don't ask me, I never looked it up. And it was, they just instantly figured out, hey, we can make money on this, right? So they just actually did that. For this game, it was completely opposite. Just because Netflix released Witcher series, and a lot of people basically started looking up the game because they started looking for information, they stumbled upon on the game. They were like, hey, hold up, there's a game. Game stayed the same price, and it actually even dropped down a little bit in price, just to give the people the opportunity to play this game and actually see what it's all about, to be Geralt, to see his path, to see his vision, make his choices, fight the beasts, you know. It is pretty good when a company actually, you know, kind of like loves the fan base, they loves the product, they are not trying to just make bank on it. And obviously for CD Projekt Red, this kind of goes through a lot of things of their decisions as a company. The same one being for the Cyberpunk, which is being pushed down and it's pushed down and it's pushed down, which I would say people have like split feelings for it. If you pre-order a game and it doesn't launch, it gets delayed, you might get a bit frustrated. And of course the company was like, hey, you know, there's COVID-19 out there, the game is not entirely finished, you know, we're trying to do our best here. So I would say take this as, you know, as actual gamers, just take the word and say, okay, so they know there's an issue and they're working to fix it, rather than bitching about it because the game would ship unfinished or unpolished with certain bugs. And I do believe bugs will be there, that's just how games work. And then bitch about it and wait for a patch. So, I mean, the time that would be required to make a patch is used to actually make a game without the patch. And probably a patch will follow anyway. So, I don't know. I like the company's attitude, I would say, towards their fan base. And yeah, Witcher 3 is still one of the popular games that is actually out there. So, when it comes to Witcher 3, the third and the final installment, of course, of this series, and basically the game's developed by CD Projekt Red, and it launched kinda at 2015. It was pushed back once in 2014, and then it actually finally did launch in 2015. So it was called The Wild Hunt. The fun story is, and I do believe I already covered this on my previous graphical comparison for Witcher 3, when it launched, everyone was kind of like, you know, expecting a game, and then we got 2 DLCs for free, whoever owned the original copy. I mean, original as, you know, bought one instead of visited dark places in the internet. And they got 2 DLCs, the Heart of Stone and Blood and Wine. And a lot of people have claimed that Blood and Wine is a whole separate game in terms of length and complexity, rather than just a 2-hour DLC that you just go through and you're kind of happy, you know, you have this aftertaste that the ending wasn't good, but now I have something I can explain it to myself and, you know, stuff like this. Now, when it comes to graphical requirements, this is very interesting again. So for Witcher 3, obviously, the recommended is a CPU i7 3770 or AMD FX 8350. Now, this is actually a very interesting point when we look at the lineup of the CPUs, because FX 8350 is kind of like the same Bulldozer architecture CPU. Bulldozers and pile drivers were kind of like the most notorious AMD CPUs because of their high core counts and threads, but i7 3770 is very, very good CPU. But if you know, if you look at, basically they say either you need a very good Intel CPU or this older AMD will still do the job. You know, it's kind of like a rock in Intel's garden at that point, I would say. For graphical fidelity, of course, GPU GeForce GTX 770 or Radeon R9 290. Well, obviously you need video memory for textures, that goes without saying. For RAM, 8GB, DirectX 11 support for the GPU, and operating system is Windows 7 or Windows 8. And here comes the fun part, 64 bits. There's no such thing as 32 bits that you can get away off and play this game happily. However, I do believe it is possible, because I'm pretty sure I actually played this on 32 bits. I can't say about if it was stable or not, but I actually did it. Now, when it comes to, of course, our graphical stuff, nothing really has changed ever since we played this, so everything is on Ultra as much as I can. We are on Full HD, I'm not gonna basically change that. Everything is on high here. I think something just kind of jumped. Yeah, whatever, apply. And I must say, so far, no, let's continue. So far, I like this game kind of the most, for the simple reason that in graphical fidelity, this game takes the cake. In comparison with 2 previous, you can clearly see how the company evolved over the years when it comes to drawings, the look of the game, the feel of the game, and how just everything is. I mean, there's no mistaking. The moment you actually look at this game, there's no way you can say, oh yeah, this is Witcher 2 or Witcher 1. Absolutely not. It looks differently. The global illumination, the movement, the model, everything is actually up to par. So good. I just cannot. Just look at this. So much detail. Of course, some would argue that, you know, there is, well, I see some jagged line on that tree, and you know the leaves are not really keeping the focus, and obviously you can bitch about it. I mean, I'm not saying you should, but you actually shouldn't, but you kind of need to understand that this game, it's very beautiful. If you don't believe me, well, I will actually link the Witcher 3 comparison graphical, well, benchmark video in the end, so you can take a look how it looks on low, medium and 4K. And then you can actually think again, because changing graphical settings and having very good performance in Full HD or 4K doesn't require top of the line hardware. If you are rocking literally everything above 980, and to be completely fair, I could actually do it with 980, it will look beautifully. People were playing this with 680s, 770s, 970s, 960s. Honestly, I mean, everything that is faster than 88 is actually pretty decent card in my opinion. And there's no absolute issues, and it looks amazing, it runs amazing. There's few glitches, few known issues, few common problems on the forums you can read about. Quests not triggering, but this is not due to graphics, it's due to, well, a lot of other things. However, I must say, story-wise, once this launched and you have 2 additional DLCs, you have hours of fun. And if you actually finished all 3, I think that's gonna be your biggest achievement, at least so far. While, you know, the COVID is going on, you can actually finish these games and feel pretty goddamn good about yourself. And honestly, I think these games are absolutely worth playing it, because I like when game looks good, and I definitely like when there is attention to detail, because attention to little things is what, in my opinion, matters more than just slap together another Call of Duty or another goddamn thing and then expect people to pay up, right? I mean, god damn it. I saw the new Call of Duty Black Cold War or something, and I was like, or Medal of Honor, whatever of those generic titles has come out lately, and I'm not impressed. And I see all the reviews, people are playing free beta and they say, oh my god, this is so cool. Well, fuck me sideways, honestly. If you think every Call of Duty title is so amazing, hit me up. I'll make graphical comparison lineup of all the Call of Duties, and you can actually see that. Honestly, if you want me to nitpick Call of Duty, I will gladly do it, because for the simple reason there has nothing has changed in a single player campaigns when it comes to certain physics or gameplay mechanics. Maybe multiplayer has some things like some kill streaks, some skills, some weapon customization, but for the single player only, you are getting the same fucking shit, same as FIFA players get the same shit, the same as Madden players get the same shit. I'm sorry, it's just copy and paste through different times just to cover as wide as player base as they can. And since they basically sucked out World War I and World War II, and Battlefield actually took the cherry on both of them, they need to go into this little grey area which is Cold War. It's just ridiculous. Look at this game. This game is an actual proof that you can just make it beautiful, make it interactive, make it very good and very interesting to play, without even trying to resort to something like as stupid as just, you know, hey, we now need a Witcher multiplayer, and then you can get attachments to your sword and microtransactions and shit. No, you can wander around wherever you want to go. You have a quest? Fuck the quest. Go wherever you want to go. You get attacked by someone? Well, that's kind of on you. Go and sort it out. Stuff like this. I mean, man. Quite literally. I would say the whole Witcher lineup is pretty damn good. They improved, they listened to the fan base, and they've done amazing things. And so far, I must say, not really many game studios can say the same. And honestly, fuck those Mass Effect fans. Swear to God. Don't even bring them up when they start bitching about how Mass Effect is bad and how they fucked the game. Absolutely not. We've done this, we looked at it, and I don't know. Personal opinions, man. If you think the game is bad, that's on you. For me, it's absolutely fine. I don't know, maybe because I actually played more games than one fucking series. Anyway, I think this is pretty clear representation of what CD Projekt Red has been busy doing all this time. And this is why people are so... Oh my god, there's actual rabbits here. Fucking hell. It's a hare. Can you look at this shit? And people got excited when Ghost of Tsushima can fucking follow foxes. Man, you have like everything in here. So yeah, obviously, again, for Cyberpunk, this game must be polished and amazing, because if they could actually do this in a couple of years, so we're literally looking at the lineup of starting the first Witcher at 2007, well, second one at 2011, and third one at 2015, and now it's 2020, and they've been working on a Cyberpunk. I'm sorry. I think we're in for a very good treat, boys. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Once it actually comes out, we'll see if I can get my hands on it, see how it runs, see the GPU usage, the graphical things, the usual, basically. And I must say, they've proven themselves pretty well. So at this note, I think I'm just gonna end this one. So thanks for watching. If you got any comments or whatever you wanna let me know, put them down in the comments, send me an email, visit my Facebook page, which is now actually up and running. And hey, see you next time. As always, stay classy and peace out.